Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. A warm welcome to the Foreign Correspondents Club of South Asia. We are delighted to have this delegation of journalists and social activists from Afghanistan who are in Delhi in the workshop. But thanks to Britta's idea to have you all over to the Foreign Correspondents Club, we are very happy to have you. By way of introduction, I just want to say that the Foreign Correspondents Club is one of the oldest clubs in the subcontinent. This was set up in 1958. We celebrated our 60th anniversary in April last year. We have 952 members at the moment, and our members cover the entire South Asian region, including Afghanistan and all the South countries, for the world's leading newspapers like the New York Times, Le Monde, and the Times of London, and the Washington Post, BBC, CNN, you name it. Whatever you read about our region in the global media or seen on television would have been reported by one of our members, okay? And at least 15 journalists, foreign journalists who covered South Asia for the global media have won the Pulitzer Prizes, the most prestigious prize for journalists in the United States. And we are happy to announce that we have just launched the FCC Awards for Excellence in Journalism. The first awards will be given later this month or next month for reportage out of the SAARC region in the global media. So we'll have a print journalist of the year, television journalist of the year, radio journalist of the year, photo journalist of the year, and online journalist of the year. And each one will receive a cash award of 100,000 rupees plus a medal and a citation. We are now also planning to do something. We are planning to introduce FCC fellowships for SAARC journalists, which will enable one journalist from each of the other 7 SAARC countries to come and spend a month on a newspaper or a television channel in India and see how the Indian media works, maybe report on India, write for their newspapers or report for their TV channels, and we will pay them pocket money of about maybe 50,000 or $1,000. We haven't got that. We are still looking for sponsors. We found somebody who said we will provide air transport from these countries to India and back. We are looking for somebody who will pick up the tab, which will take care of the pocket money and also their accommodation in India. I don't know if the Germans, any of the institutions would like to come forward to make this happen. That would be fantastic. Okay. Okay. So Britta has been dealing with all of you, and I'm very happy to pass the mic on to Britta to say a few words, and the mic will go around. Each one of you will introduce yourself and say something about what you have been doing here and what you do back home and how you see the future of Afghanistan after the Americans pull out, whether the Doha talks will be successful or not, so on and so forth. We are all journalists. It's a very informal kind of discussion. Thank you, Britta.
Yeah, thank you very much, Venkat, for making this possible at a very short notice. Let me introduce myself. I'm Britta Peterson. I currently work with the Observer Research Foundation here in Delhi, which is a think tank. But I used to be correspondent of the German Financial Times until 2010 here in Delhi, and before that I was posted in Kabul, and in that time I also founded a small NGO that did journalism training in Afghanistan. And in those years we cooperated with the Mediothek Afghanistan, and the delegation of Afghan journalists that is here now comes from the Mediothek Afghanistan, which is an NGO that engages in different kinds of civil society activities, and media is only one of it. Atif will say probably a bit more about it. And I thought it is a great opportunity to interact with the colleagues here in India, because all of the participants of this workshop here now are from Afghanistan, also from different provinces, and I think they can tell you a lot about the situation on the ground and how people see the developments that are happening there. So I think I'll hand it over to Atif to say a few words about the workshop. The workshop is actually, I should say that, also it is sponsored by the German Foreign Office, and there is a trainer, Michael Kramer here from Germany. And we were also supported here on the ground in India by the Konrad Adenauer Foundation and their media partner, the Statesman. I think Ravindra Kumar could not make it today, but so we are grateful that all of them came on board to help us to set this up here. So yes, over to you, Atif, and I think after that all of the Afghans here should probably introduce themselves, and so then we can enter into a discussion. Oh yeah, there's also our friend from the Afghan embassy is also there. Thank you. Welcome.
Namaste, salam, greetings to all. It is a tremendous pleasure to be here this evening. Before talking about what Media is doing, I would like to pay a debt of gratitude for the people who made this possible. And thank you very much, sir, for making this possible in the first place, for giving us the opportunity to come over to this wonderful class, a long history of great and outstanding performance here in India. It would have not been possible, of course, without the support of Sujeta, who actually we consider herself a colleague in Mediatik. It's like everybody in Mediatik knows her, and she worked with Mediatik. She's a founding member of Mediatik Afghanistan. So when she is supporting us, we consider her an active member of Mediatik Afghanistan. But thank you very much, despite all the things you have to do as a member of a think tank, for making this possible. We are very happy. 11 young activists from Afghanistan, 12 or 11 young activists are here for a 10-day workshop on mediation and negotiation as a means of conflict resolution. We already discussed, Mr. Kramer, our wonderful trainer from Germany, will speak about the training. What is the training about and what the objectives of the training are. But I will briefly talk about what Mediatik Afghanistan is doing in Afghanistan, but also on a regional level. We are specifically very happy to be here in India because India is a very rich country in terms of media and institutionalization, democratization, and these are the things that we are working in Afghanistan. We can learn tremendous lessons here from India, and I hope this will be the beginning of a long process of mutual work and cooperation with Indian activists and Indian journalists. And we can help introducing journalists who would be doing this internship here with you. We have a vast network of journalists in Afghanistan. This Mediatik Afghanistan was founded in 1993 in Germany by Afghan experts, German Afghan experts, and Afghan living in Germany, with the aim of supporting Afghan preservation of Afghan heritage, promoting education, peace building, and civic activities. But in 1993, as you know, things were not good in Afghanistan, unfortunately. Mediatik, even though it was still active in Afghanistan, but there was no opportunity working on a larger scale. It was helping build schools and provide opportunities mainly for boys to access education. But after 2001, the attention of Mediatik, the focus of its activities shifted from only building schools and helping people access education to new areas of focus, strengthening civil society structure and also peace capacities. So Afghanistan needed a lot of peace capacities, and we have been providing peace trainings, conflict resolution trainings on different levels at various provinces across Afghanistan on regional level. We also work with Tajikistan, also with Afghanistan, with Iran and Afghanistan and all provinces. We also work with developing a pluralistic and independent media in Afghanistan. Media since 2001 trained more than 4,000 journalists. The chances are that if you meet a journalist in Afghanistan, the chances are 95% the journalists who are mostly under 30 have somehow participated in a training that was conducted and organized by Media Afghanistan. It's no matter in which part of Afghanistan you meet a journalist. And we are very proud of that, the services to the Afghan community, especially Afghan media. Promoting democratic values and also a culture of tolerance and nonviolence is another main focus of our work in Afghanistan. We provide training, work with local elders, work with religious scholars, students and schools in conflict resolutions through nonviolent means. And I think this is the right point to mention that these all activities that I would mention some are possible because of the generous support of the German government and specifically the German Ministry of Foreign Affairs, but also GIZ and BMZ. But the German government also have a scheme, the Afghan-German cooperation, which is providing a wide range of support for Afghan civil society, media, and also Afghan legal system, training Afghan legal system, and strengthening rule of law. We have been also providing training in rule of law, and access to information is another important topic that we are working, because in Afghanistan we still face huge hurdles when it comes to access to information. Providing platforms for peaceful interactions and dialogues among citizens is another very important thing. In Afghanistan, things are very different than India. We have offices in several provinces of Afghanistan, provinces such as yours. As people come there, they access internet without charge, and they have a place to at least come together. Young boys and girls come together, men and women, and they exchange views and discuss political topics and topics of their interest. And this is a very important thing the media has been doing in Afghanistan. And it has been doing it since 2001 and continue to provide that platform, which is very important, especially these platforms help people improve understanding and also discuss the misconception that exists in a society which has been in war for 40 years or more than that. There are a lot of misconception about each other, about the neighbors, about the other ethnicity, and when they come together, discuss these issues, they find out that there is no problem. The problem is lack of communication. So we provide a wide range of opportunities for people to come around a table and discuss, express their views in a very open and transparent environment. I will make it very short. Yeah, thank you. Well, thank you very much, and I will try to introduce them. Thank you.
Okay, Michael is my name. Thank you for being here. So, I get the impression I should do it briefly. I'm working as a trainer and mediator in Berlin, Germany, and I'm doing the training for this guys from Afghanistan here in Delhi for these 10 days.
Nasir from Herat, Afghanistan, Herat University Peace Center Provincial Coordinator and member of the Youth Network of Mediating Afghanistan.
Nazir Rohan from Post Province work with one of Post Zarwandi and also social activist.
Ahmed Wali Ahmadi from Kandahar, social and peace activist, and working for the US Embassy alumni in Kabul.
I'm not from Afghanistan. I work for German television in New Delhi, and of course I have traveled a lot to Afghanistan over the last 50 years.
I'm an Indian journalist working in defense and diplomacy from New Delhi. I'm Mahendra Gay. I'm president of Commonwealth Journalist Association. I've been in a very small way a watcher of Afghanistan, having done a couple of co-authored a couple of books in the past. I don't run around much now, but I still keep a watch and very, very closely to what is happening. Glad to meet you all.
I'm from Delhi, or video. My main subject of interest is information which I have been writing for the last 20 years.
My name is Chris Pakesh. I'm from the Embassy of Switzerland in New
My name is Truben Tukchatan. I'm also from the Embassy of Switzerland, his assistant.
My name is Pradeep Khanna. I'm a journalist. I cover foreign policy and especially related to South Asia for the Singapore Police.
I am a co-vision, freelance columnist. I write for the Asian Age, which is published.
यहाँ तक आने को माइक्रोफोन ले जाकर पीछे जो बैठे हैं ना उनके पास ले जाओ.
I'm Mustafa Kamal, the Executive Director of Service Region and one of the consultants for the training of trainers and mediation.
This is Farida Sultan, member of Mediatic of Afghanistan from South Azuna Kandahar, and one of the member of Afghan Youth Parliament as well. It's a practical parliament for the youth. And then I would like to say something from the Mediatic of Afghanistan and as well from FCC media group as well. And also thanks I would like to say from the members of Mediatic for Afghanistan as well. They give us the opportunity to learn more and to do something more. And nice to meet you. And as well, thanks from the Indian people as well.
Nazreen Asraki, member of Mediatic.
This is Sambai Imran, the specialist, the procurement specialist of the Capital Region Independent Development Authority, and also a member of the Youth Network, Mediatic Youth Network, Afghanistan.
Hello, and with a warm welcome and appreciation to participate in such a valuable roundtable. I am Farah Mustafawi, a member of Mediatic Youth Generation, Young Generation and Youth Ambassadors. Thanks.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Saruja Mangal. I work for New York Times in southeast of Afghanistan. I'm also work as a lecturer at Shahzad University. I proudly can say that I was the head of music from 2008 up to 2016. In the period, I was writing for our international media outlets, and I'm really happy that I'm meeting with our person. She was our trainer, and even she'll lead us on a good path. And thank you so much for all of you, and thank you, sir, for inviting us here. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Munish Gupta. I run a television programming channel and called PIOTV, which is for people of Indian origin. And I do a lot of work also in Africa. Good to have you guys here, and on behalf of Foreign Correspondent Club, we would like to
I just think, it is a very crucial year for Afghanistan, and since most of you are journalists, I think we just throw this open for questions and discussions. And you have
Sorry. Good evening to everyone. My name is Omid Wafa. I'm working with MediaTek Afghanistan as an admin in finance. Thank you.
I'm C.K. Nayak. I'm a journalist and member of the Press Council of India.
My name is Ashok. I work for the Statesman newspaper. I write on foreign affairs.
Hi, my name is Kushali Sasdeva. I am from Rajnaitik Rajput Finance Channel.
Atul Srideva, senior journalist, Rajnaitik Rajput.
I'm Pankaj Uppal. I have earlier worked with the team in Afghanistan on sexual harassment at the workplace site and a small workshop we've done. So I have interest in the subject, so that's why I'm here.
Actually, my name is Yabat. There was a mistake. I'm not from the Afghan embassy. I'm a student. That's okay.
My name is Tamara Mona, from the Swiss embassy as well.
I'm freelance editor based in Delhi.
I'm Dini Yadav. I'm from Asian Newsmaker. And this is a web magazine which is recently launched, and we concentrate in covering mainly the South Asian development and also the other South Asian part.
Hello, gentlemen. I am Rakesh Jain, journalist from the news.
Hello, I'm doing my internship at CAS India right now.
I'm Romina Elbracht and I work for the German Konrad Adenauer Foundation based in Berlin.
My name is Sadiq McCune. I am involved in news for the last 35 years, and I am a trainer of journalists also. I work in New Delhi YMC as the director of Institute for Media Studies and Information Technology, and I am also part of Asian Newsmakers, which covers Southeast Asia.
My name is Vijay. I'm a freelancer. I have special interest in AFGHAN region. I am Vipul. I am a student interested in geopolitics, especially AFGHAN region.
Harun from Pakistan Embassy, perspective.
Yes, so I think there's one gentleman sitting there.
I'm Murli. I'm a freelancer.
Yes, so I would suggest, since there's not so much time, we collect 3 questions at a time, and then whoever wants to answer it here answers it, or if you have also some statements to make, please feel welcome. If you could just raise your hand, and we'll take 3 at a time. Yeah. So. Yes, sir. Yeah, you and you and another one.
Right. So obviously there's a lot of confusion amongst I feel Indian leaders regarding the situation in Afghanistan because most of the coverage comes from CNN and the Western outlets, and there's sort of a situation wherein they're showing it's a dire situation and sort of it's going to explode in some ways. Whereas we in India sort of look at it differently from an economic point of view, and we're looking at our investments and how that's going to pan out in the future. So can you just give us an idea of what the post US withdrawal to withdrawal, what's the scenario from your point of view? Because we don't really get to hear the Afghan side of the equation. We get to hear the foreign journalists speaking about it and their lens of view amongst the Indian leaders generally.
Maybe because that is a very big question. I'm sure that many people would ask this question. So maybe we stay with that question for a while, and whoever wants to say something about this from the Afghan group, please go forward.
I can tell you for certain Afghanistan will not explode. I think this was a concern before 2014 as well. As there were a lot of discussions in international media, but also Afghan media, like things will fall apart by 2014. When the number of international forces from 150,000 soldiers came into around 10 to 15,000. And of course, there were some challenges, but the Afghan army, the Afghan security forces very bravely stood and tackled the challenges. There probably will be some challenges, but we are not politicians to foresee what those challenges could be. But Afghans, especially we as journalists and civil society, will continue to build on the achievement of the past 18 years. We have a vibrant media in Afghanistan, a very free and independent media in Afghanistan. There are still challenges. We have a civil society that is challenging government policies, that is standing and supporting human rights, citizenship, and rule of law. And this will continue even after 2001, the Americans are gone from Afghanistan. As far as we can tell as civil society activists. But this is a very big question, as you mentioned, that probably politicians will have different views.
Probably there are others who also want to add something to that.
Thank you, brother, for the question. As before mentioned, if you want to give answer for this question, it will take a long time. But originally the mentality is like when you're thinking about Afghanistan, like there's killing, there's terrorists, but we should know we are living there. We cannot compare today Afghanistan with Afghanistan which was like a decade, 1.5 decades before. Right now, in Afghanistan, what is going on originally, no one can, what is going, the interpretation of each country is different. But the most important issue is that still there is something which is like hide, which is unseen, which is like we should explain what is going on originally and what will happen, what will be the future of Afghanistan. But if the big trouble of foreign forces takes place, I'm sure, if you have seen, if you have heard the statement of His Excellency Mr. Ghani, that we, in last 4 years, around 45,000, soldiers have been killed in Afghanistan. They were not just killed, they have sacrificed for the people of Afghanistan, for the protection of this country. But we can count on the achievements of the last 1.5 decades. Still there are problems in Afghanistan, there are many challenges, there are various challenges, but I'm sure, I'm really optimistic to the future of Afghanistan.
Thank you. I would like to start my speech with a famous expression from Maulana that he said, "Ma baraye wasl amade, ne baraye fasl." As an ambassador, as youth ambassadors, our mission is connecting people to people. We are not talking the political games. We are not coming to talk about the behavior of our politics. As you know, the most forgotten and the most ignored people among the public people is the youth. That they don't have any sounds, any ideas in the political. We are coming for the connection of people. Our mission is not the political games. Our mission is the society connection. As you know, without any we don't like to say about the political our country, from our country, and we are talking to behave the youth ambassadors. It is very good if you are not asking from our political, because as you know, the ambassadors, members of ambassadors of Pakistan is in here, and we love to talk the connection of the people.
Can I just add to this answers with you? You said that there's a lot of difference in the last 10 years. So my question is that it seems that Taliban is going to share power sooner than later. The moment America leaves, Taliban is going to fill that backbone. So my question is that, do you think Taliban of 1990s have changed and they are out making more forces?
See,
when we are talking about peace in Afghanistan, first of all, how do we find peace? You know, it's like if Taliban come back to Afghanistan, like in a meeting in Qatar, one of the top negotiators of Taliban, they talked about the dissolution of Afghanistan. This is unacceptable, you know. It's like no one will accept that the dissolution of Afghan army. The top issue and the most important issue is that when we are talking about Taliban, it means like something wrong came to our mind. You know, okay, maybe like they are talking about the human rights, about the media, about press freedom, but maybe what will be coming a series of problems, a series of challenges with that. But I'm sure with the presence of international community, international organizations, with the support of regional and neighbor countries, we will have a good future. We will have a good and strong government. But one thing is, you know, it is valuable to mention that if there is peace in Afghanistan, peace of Afghanistan is like peace in India, like peace in Pakistan, like peace in Iran. It's been peace and stability of Afghanistan is belong to the stability and security of regional countries. That's why it's not like we Afghans don't want to talk about the importance, about the strategic location of Afghanistan. But everybody knows about the strategic location of Afghanistan. It means if there is disorder, unrest, and there is insecurity in Afghanistan, it means gradually it will spread to all countries. Therefore, like we media, those who work in media are several actors.
Can you just what is the change Taliban has undergone in the last 10 years? Can you be a little more specific on that? Do you feel that Taliban has changed?
I think there is no change in Taliban idea, but sometimes in some meeting they say we will do something for Afghan population. Exactly if they wanted that we have a peaceful environment during the last 18 years, the Taliban, they should think at that time, and after that they should speak with the government of Afghanistan, or they do sign the agreement with the government of Afghanistan. Right now, the peace process is not clear for Afghan population, for the Afghan government. Sometimes Mr. Khaliza says something to the media and they will sign an agreement, but the government of Afghanistan, the population of Afghanistan, they have not any information, I think, about this process till now. The other thing, for the changing Taliban mind, I don't think, because when they come in Afghanistan and they see the ladies like this, it is impossible for them that they let them, because all the time they announce they do not accept the constitution law of Afghanistan, they do not accept the government of Afghanistan. Sometimes they say the National Army of Afghanistan is not based on the standard that they have. These are the problem. I don't think so that when they back again to Afghanistan, they had a good behavioral manner with the Afghan population. And don't forget one thing, during the last 18 years, we had a lot of achievement in Afghanistan. We do not want to sacrifice this achievement by the dealing that right now US has with the Taliban in Qatar or Doha. But our achievement, our constitution law, our national forces are important for us than the other things. Mustafa Ataturk says peace at home is peace abroad. Think about this. If we have peace, Pakistan will have peace. If we have peace, India, Tajikistan, the countries that they have joint border with Afghanistan, they will have peace. Otherwise, I don't think so that the Taliban exactly or reality they want a peaceful Afghanistan for the Afghan population.
There is
The negotiator of the Taliban commented that the Taliban wants the annulment of the Afghan National Army. And there were also some comments about women that, we would specify how women behave once the peace process is struck in Afghanistan. The civil society and media put a lot of pressure on the Taliban. And the next time, the same negotiator, and he corrected, no, I have never said that. This was a misunderstanding and misinterpretation of my statement. We don't want the annulment of the Afghan National Army, even if we come to Afghanistan as a result of a peace process, we would still need a national army. And the national army we have, we accept that. The other thing, very important, we have a constitution in Afghanistan. And that constitution is the red line for us as free citizens in Afghanistan and as media activists and civil society. Anybody who does not accept that constitution, we would not accept that people. And this is the very broad view, and it's like everybody holds this view in Afghanistan. You either accept the constitution or you don't accept the constitution. History has shown again and again that nobody ever, from Alexander the Great to the British, to the Americans, to the Taliban, to the Mujahideen, nobody wins in Afghanistan by the way of fighting. The only way forward is peace. And peace under a constitution, a very modern constitution that we have. Modern, it guarantees rights for women, for minorities, for all religious groups. And this is probably the best constitution Afghanistan ever have. Again, we can claim we are in a very big democracy here in India. By far, this is a very good constitution. What we have in Afghanistan, and everything will be decided according to that constitution.
I have a question. The report says that the Taliban control half of Afghanistan. And while the negotiations are going on in Doha, the Taliban is flexing their muscles by undertaking attacks like it happened in Kabul today. So, the feeling generally is that they are waiting for the Americans to pull out, then they will take over the whole of Afghanistan and introduce the kind of rule which they had the last time they were in power. There is serious anxiety across the globe, particularly what will happen to women in a Taliban-ruled Afghanistan. What are the dangers of the Taliban taking control of the administration in Afghanistan? We are very keen to know, and the Taliban would like India to get out of there. We have invested $3 billion. We are investing a lot of money in building Chabahar so that we can send goods to Afghanistan and Central Asia. So, there is a lot of uncertainty and anxiety among lovers of Afghanistan. We know that from Alexander the Great onwards, nobody could really control the Afghans. But how do you, what would you like to say to clear all these apprehensions in the minds of the people, not only in India, but everybody who loves your country?
I'd like to add to what Venkat just said. And instead of, I don't know how many of you can actually answer that question on behalf of the government, but certainly as civic society. But let me tell you my observation, and I'm very glad to meet you today, all of you. I mean, this is such a pleasure to see this delegation, especially the youth, and to see the youth ambassadors here. So I must compliment Videotech and all your people who are supporting you for a great endeavor. I made friends with a young Afghan when I was in high school who had come away from Afghanistan as a refugee. This was 35, 36 years old. That boy and his family, to what I see today in this room, is a huge change. It's a very big change. So I am very positive and optimistic, as you said, and she said, and he said, about what I see in Afghanistan today. But that apart, I mean, there is a situation on the ground, and there is some of you that we meet here. So if you were to, and I'm so glad that what she said and others have spoken to me and you guys have said, I mean, hard line, red line, constitution, no annulment, women's rights, freedom, human rights, all this is great. But like Venkat said, and like we have asked, how many of you, and in all of Afghanistan minus the Taliban, that strong, that resolved, and that prepared, ready and able, whether it's civic society, young ambassadors, people in administration, people in government, the army, to go the last mile to protect your new country that you have built from the throes of the world's probably biggest conflict.
Thank you very much. These are very, very hard questions for us as citizens and also as civil society activists. But sir, I will come to your questions. The Taliban are controlling half of Afghanistan. The fact is Afghanistan has almost 400 districts, that administrative districts. And I'm not sure if Taliban are controlling 2 districts. 2 districts. I'm not speaking on behalf of the Afghan government, the Ministry of Defense. I have no information about these things, but I have a lot of information about Afghanistan because I work with journalists, I work with civil society, and I live in Afghanistan. And I have lived the whole of my life in Afghanistan. Afghanistan is unfortunately because the geography of Afghanistan is so challenging. When the Soviet Union was there, they would take over a region, they would pull out, and the Mujahideen would come back. This is the same thing today, but they are not controlling half of Afghanistan, they are not controlling 20% of Afghanistan. They control maybe rural areas, which is very difficult for Afghan army and police to stay there all the time, because Afghanistan is not a small country, it is a big country and very mountainous. And we guarantee the young people, the Afghan government is mostly run by young people. And these young people who you are seeing here, they want very good relations with their neighbors. We are very happy, sir, from the Pakistan government embassy here. We want good relations with Pakistan. We also want very good relations with India, with Iran, with Tajikistan, of course with Germany, providing support. And whoever supports Afghan people at this challenging time, they are our friends, and we welcome them. And there should be no worries on the side of our neighbors, India, Pakistan, Iran, that Afghanistan will be used against their interests. No, Afghan people want their support and want good relations with every state and every government. We have a lot of things in common here in this region. I'm tremendously honored here to be in India. This was a big wish on my top 10. To be here in India, and that's possible. We should also acknowledge CAS provided great support along the statements. This is personal view, and probably my other friends also have something to say, but Afghanistan will not be a threat to anyone, and we want development. So people are very thirsty for development.
Yeah, first of all, I think we are here from the music of Afghanistan. So we are not the government of Afghanistan, we are youth. I think if my brothers and other colleagues talk how we can support the youth and how we can help, I think we are not from the Taliban side and from the government of Afghanistan. Let's to see and leave this thing for those people that they are working in that area. We are from the people. We are like we want to connect the people. We want to work for the people that they are not from the both sides. They are the local people and they are living in that country. We know and everyone know that we are a neighbor, and if our neighbor is not like a peaceful place, so it means you are not in a place. So let's talk about the youth. Let's talk about this, that how can we help and how can we develop. Yeah, there is a challenge. Yeah, I know we are facing a lot of the challenge, And I know there is a lot of problem, but let's talk how we can solve this problem, how we can help to each other, how we can connect like a small group of the people, how we can develop these people. I know we are a good relationship with Pakistan and as well with India. I live in both of the country also. So let's talk about this issue and do not. This is my personal issue and request. About regarding the girls, yeah, they will never come back. They will never go to the back. Now they get more education. Now they know, and I know through education they can build their life and they can build their country. Yeah, everyone wants to build their country, but I want to be in a peaceful place. I'm not saying that I want to be like Pakistani, Afghani and Indian. Yeah, we are. First we are human, then we are like Afghan, Indian and Pakistan and Iran people. But let's talk about the human. How we can.
Thank you. I'll try to make it shorter. The first thing was the control of Taliban in Afghanistan. The way Taliban fights in Afghanistan is guerrilla fighting. There is no border, there is no such thing that they are controlling half of Afghanistan. If it's a reality, then this will be a very big shame for the international community whose prisons are there. And it's another thing, which is not a reality. It's not they are fighting guerrilla. Like, it's okay that they are controlling one district only for 3 days. Again, government is taking that back. So it's not a reality that they are controlling one days for even more than for a month. Another thing is, one of the biggest reasons that Taliban are fighting is the presence of the international community in Afghanistan, the military presence. So when there is no military presence in Afghanistan, of course they will not have any reason to fight. That's one thing. Another thing is, the current peace talk is just working for a framework for the process of peace. That's not something which Taliban is dealing with US or US is dealing with America, with the Taliban. Whatever is happening, if it's the withdrawal of the US troops, it will be with the it will be with the coordination with the government of Afghanistan. Without the consent of the Afghanistan, US will not leave. A lot of people, more than 50% people of Afghanistan are sure for this. But that's
Okay.
Sorry.
One point I want to add to your question. Is there any fact or research that you share with us regarding the controlling half of the Afghanistan by the Taliban or not?
We have no information. It is just in the newspapers that they're talking about the Doha peace talks. There is one paragraph in which invariably they say Taliban controls half of Afghanistan. I have not seen it. That is why we are asking you people, because you are citizens of that country. Yeah, that's it.
You know what might be a
Government and Taliban, and the constitution of the law constitution of Afghanistan is one of the greatest achievements of democracy in the past 2 decades that has been sacrificed of thousands of Afghan citizens, and shouldn't be traded with other interests.
Thank you. Rana?
My question is very different from the ongoing conversation. My curiosity is actually how it is to be a woman journalist in Afghanistan, for that matter, media, civil society at least. The 51% of the Afghanistan. I would like the woman. How it is to be a woman journalist in Afghanistan.
How is the situation?
how it is to be a woman journalist in
Have you understood the question? If you are a woman journalist, how difficult or easy is it for you to function as a media person in Afghanistan? In activity. You want...
Yeah.
First of all, I'm not a journalist. The problem is a lot, and still we have a woman journalist in Afghanistan. So they are work from the different province of Afghanistan. So when I think when there is no the challenge just for the females and for female staff or the women. There is a problem for the male as well. I think when a society is in a problem, when a country is in a problem, so the meaning is that human is in a problem. So yeah, they are facing with a lot of problem. So I think none of the country is without the problem. We know that in India is also the woman is with facing a lot of the problem. So challenges, we have challenge and we are facing the challenge. But the more important thing is that everybody have a hope. And they want to develop and they want to work in their area for their people or for the human as well. So yeah, I hope we will have developed countries. I hope one day there will be no problem for the human. Not for the Pakistan, not for the India, not for the Afghanistan. I'm talking for the humans because we are human and we have to work for them.
I work with MediaTech and we work with journalists. It's probably hundreds of journalists are coming in MediaTech. It's very challenging. Working with MediaTech, we work with journalists, providing training. Like every month, we have like dozens of journalists coming. It's very challenging for female journalists in Afghanistan to work. We have journalists, female journalists working, but they are mainly in Kabul. In provinces, this is almost difficult. There is also security issues, but traditional issues. It is more of traditional issues. Women cannot go, travel alone. They will have to have a company. And this is not possible because media don't have the financial backing. So it's very difficult for a woman to work. Mostly who are working, you're working as anchor, reading news.
Even on the solo news, don't see. I watch it, I don't. It's for representation. Yeah.
You very nicely explained regarding the laws and constitutional process. The constitution is very good, and law is very good, providing the equality, equities, liberty, and this. But the thing, what is the implementation? And you also explained that out of 400 districts, even Taliban is more influencing even the two. But what's the even in the rural area? I think Taliban is very much influenced, and there are challenges on the many sides, not only for the Orthodox society, for the other groups also. I would like to know about the implementation of laws.
You know, certainly Afghanistan is not Switzerland. Certainly not. We have huge problem with rule of law and the implementation of law. There's a lot of problems. This is not only the Taliban who are resisting, but the government employees resisting themselves. We have warlords. We have 40 years of war. They are all still armed groups who are resisting rule of law. We have a lot of challenges, but we are working on strengthening human rights and rule of law, providing training, mainly with the support the German government. The Italians are providing a lot of trainings. And the biggest challenge is we are still at war. There are armed conflict. A huge budget is allocated to fighting an insurgency. We are fighting on behalf of the global community. This is not an Afghan war, this is a community. This is a global war, unfortunately, and we are at the forefront of that war. And we are paying sacrifices on the behalf of international community. And hopefully, we are very hopeful that this peace talks will bring some kind of peace to Afghanistan, or at least a long-term ceasefire, then we would be really able to work in rural areas and rule of law in the true meaning, in the true sense of the word. A lot of challenges still will
On the other side, if there is some discrimination or discrimination of the exploitation or some, so people are going for the judiciary. But on the other side, there is no influence by the orthodox groups and the Taliban, that there is a lots of corruption in your judiciary. It's a very big problem. So people are going, when there is some problem, people are going towards the judiciary, and the judiciary is not fair due to the corruption or whatever. So how much you are protecting your judiciary? It should be independent and provide the justice.
Well, let me in the interest of time, I think we should bring the focus back to, I think I hear this again and again, let's bring the focus back to what this group is doing. And I think you should sum it up, all of you, any one of you who wants to make a comment as to what is the purpose that brought you here to India. India has a lot of stake in Afghanistan as a neighbor, somebody that could help instill peace, help do the development or redevelopment of Afghanistan in the whole region. And I think you had something on your mind when you come here as young ambassadors, NGOs, civic groups and journalists. What is it that you need from India that India hasn't done so far or could do more? It's something that journalists would also like to hear. And then we can wrap it up because we do have another event at 7:30.
Can anyone have to give me a precise figure of the strength of Afghan National Army and Afghan National Police? Because they are the two bulwarks of providing security to the whole country.
Maybe if somebody has an answer to that question directly. And after that we do the round.
From 2014, all the war is controlled by our government, the National Army, the National Police.
Numbers.
How many?
Yeah, it's around 400,000.
I would like to know your comment on my question on independent and
how much police? Just 1 minute.
Yeah, if we talk about the problems, the root cause of all the problems again comes to the insecurity and the war which is going on there. So if there is no war, of course the government will be stronger and we will have a stronger judicial system.
Yeah, sorry, we have to conclude here because we have one more function here, but they'll be here, and please join them informally for over pakoras and chai coffee. Thank you very much for coming here. And as a memento, we are very happy to present this to each member of the Afghan delegation. This was specially designed to celebrate the 60th anniversary of the FCC. So when you go back, when you have your chai, coffee or whatever, you will remember us. Okay? Thank you so much for coming. Yes, please.
Yeah. First of all, thank you so much for the invitation. I want to say one thing, that the geopolitical position of Afghanistan, which was the biggest threat for Afghanistan, is nowadays converting to a very big opportunity for Afghanistan. As now you are in the picture that the China's Silk Road, which will connect one of the biggest producer of the world, China, with the Middle East, which is the most consumer. The Turkey project is there, that the Afghanistan will connect the Central Asia with the South Asia. Tajikistan, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Pakistan and India project is there. So we are optimistic for our future. Afghanistan has now got the constitution which will convert the geopolitical position of Afghanistan, which was a threat to an opportunity. Thank you.
Yeah, just from my side, thank you very much for all of you for coming, and I think we really should continue the conversation over there, and we could even probably sit outside, and there is a bar where we can have a drink if you like, and keep on talking.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All these people were my friends. When I have been to your factory, dozens of times, and I have stayed in the past several months, years, here in Kabul University, almost all the conferences. I didn't know that all of you are here. Otherwise, I would have organized, even if you are tomorrow here, I can organize some meeting, And I know your Prime Minister is a personal friend. I have been to his home in the village, and your President was my colleague at New York University. He was teaching economics, and I taught political science and international affairs here. And I was the editor of Press Trust of India here, and the largest newspaper of Afghanistan. Shakir Rahel was my friend, and Kabul Times editor of India. All of your journalists know very well.